We've got a couple clips of hosts on a CNN panel destroying the talking points of MAGA Republican Scott Taylor, who is trying to defend Trump in light of some bombshell reporting in regards to him and Putin and the look for his administration if he wins. So let's line these clips up and, as always, knock them out with the context.
You mentioned her change in rhetoric where she's trying to, okay, now I'm the strong person, Donald Trump is the weak person. Just speaking as a dude, right? A country guy, I'm just telling you right now. I mean, I talk to lots of guys. I'm a bro. So when you talk to people, no one's looking at her and saying this is the strong leader. And that plays out in the data. You see that in the data.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. It's fine. It's not a sexist. But it's not a sexist thing to say.
I'm just saying,
which is what people dismiss it as.
I think that is worth unpacking.
It is
100%, and it is a challenge for her.
Anyone who sees Trump as a strong leader misunderstands foreign politics and actually just goes off vibes like you can't take these people serious. Trump made fun of Kim Jong-un as he upped his nuclear arsenal directly in Trump's face, who then came and saluted his army. What kind of cuck shit is that? Trump pulled us out of the Iran nuclear deal, and now Iran's nuclear threat is one of the main points of contentions in the Middle East. Trump negotiated with terrorists in Afghanistan and gave them land while also freeing 5,000 terrorists. Trump refused to respond to Russia invading Crimea, which made Putin think he could act with impunity and invade further into Ukraine. Trump left Palestinians out of negotiations and moved the Israeli embassy to annex land, which further tensions there. Where was he ever a strong leader? He almost made a mistake in every conflict he went into, and I didn't even go into him blocking the stopping of us sending aid to Yemen, effectively enabling the Yemeni genocide, dropping the largest bomb of all time on Afghanistan, getting troops killed in response to these attacks. I mean, the list could go on and on. World leaders have a higher opinion of Biden. We've exposed the Russian army as weak because of the weapons Biden has sent to Ukraine. NATO is stronger now than ever. Harris was center on hostage negotiations with Russia to release troops and Americans who Trump failed to release. So this is a very weird and very bad talking point.
The only thing I'll say is that I think the reason why former presidents talking to international and foreign leaders might happen all the time. The difference here is Donald Trump is running to be the president again. And so what conversations is he having after he got out of office, making deals that might be undermining our current government? That is the thing that makes me, that hasn't really been brought up in this conversation, that makes me very concerned and I think deserves a bit more scrutiny than for people, than an Obama, than a Bush having a conversation with another foreign leader.
Exactly. This gets into possible quid pro quo territory when Trump is secretly speaking to foreign leaders as he's planning to run for president again, especially now that we know he tried to hide these conversations. Why would you do that if there was nothing to hide? And also it goes one-to-one with the bombshell release that while Americans were struggling and dying, struggling to get COVID tests, he was secretly sending them to Putin to help out Russia. Again, in a point where Americans were struggling, scared, and dying, Trump went out of his way to instead help a foreign dictator, as he told us domestically to inject bleach, who now he has regular conversations with, where he could be directing him to undermine the current government, striking deals. You know how he'll say he'll end the Russian-Ukraine conflict on day one, but never expands on how? There could be a clear quid pro quo happening where Putin, hey, he tells him to undermine the current government, help Trump win. When he gets into office, he'll annex Ukrainian land to give to Putin. This is horrendous, morally and ethically disqualifying, and if 40% of the population wasn't in a cult, this would be treated like a major deal.
Not done. I mean, even with this blitz,
yes,
she really still has not done
mainstream media. They're very active on social media.
Everything has changed, and mainstream media doesn't seem to get that still. I don't know, 20 years into the internet age, people consume things much differently than they used to. And you have to just respond to that. And in her case, she's doing what she wants to do. That's why the New York Times is squawking, because they haven't gotten the interview.
And this is a great way to put how Harris is focusing on her campaign. She's really addressing new media and how people consume their news today. Very active on TikTok, very active on X. She's speaking directly to voters at rally, as well as doing podcasts. And this is how most voters, most people get their news anyway. They're not following mainstream media like they used to. And despite her doing all of this and that being where the focus is, she's still been blitzing interviews, talking to reporters. It just comes down to MAGA having created this kind of talking point. So no amount of interviews or work that she puts in this regard will dispel the talking point. It just doesn't matter. They're going to keep pushing it like they do every other narrative, right? Which when she does these interviews, they just criticize her for them anyway. So it's all disingenuous and bad faith on their part. While Trump, however, dodges doing 60 Minutes, refuses to do CNN, won't do MSNBC. If he takes any hard questions during a rally or something, he just calls them fake news and never answers, and nobody cares about that. But again, this kind of rage, I guess you could say, at Harris not doing interviews, people being upset about it, doesn't exist on the left. There's not a single Democrat who is mad at her for not doing like Fox News interviews or 30 town halls. She is effectively getting her message across regardless of that, which is what actually matters.